everyone, it's Tanny Games here. Welcome back to the channel. I'm here today to talk about the premium store. Now, hopefully this isn't going to be a very long video, and I am going to mock up a few images. They're going to look rubbish. I'm not an artist. I'll mock them up in like 5-10 minutes. So don't judge how crude they are, but I want to talk about the premium shop and my thoughts on how I personally would prefer the premium shop to be. Now, obviously, this is my own personal take and opinion and stuff like that, so it's fine if anyone else wants to disagree or, things like that. Fully understandable. But I wanted to kind of discuss my thought process of how I think a store should be based on my own experiences with premium stores, such as like in Dead by Daylight and stuff like that. Just like my own experience with buying from an online shop kind of thing. Also thinking of like, even though it's kind of different, but things like Sims packs and stuff like that, like just kind of my thought process behind that and what I would prefer the store to be like. So let's start with one of my big issues with the premium shop is that I really feel like it preys upon the idea of FOMO. So fear of missing out. I'm sure you all know that, but just saying anyway. I feel like by only having a few items in rotation each week, you're kind of forced into buying something almost immediately because you don't know when it's going to come back around. I mean, the big thing that I will talk about is the premium bundles that were first ever released with the premium shop. So the first ever bundles, and they've not repeated. Now, they have started splitting that bundle up and selling the items individually, but they've never brought it back since as a bundle. Now, bearing in mind we've had the premium store well over a year and stuff like that, and certain items have been repeated several times, I think that's a bit of a joke, personally. I think it's a bit ridiculous that people are still waiting over a year later for this item to repeat that's probably never going to turn up. Or at least if they are, they're breaking it apart into individual items, which I just, personally, I kind of don't vibe with. Now, my thoughts are, generally speaking, I think they need a full-term shop. Like, every item is available at any point. Well, at least for items that have been released so far. So at any point, if you want to buy those items, you can. I think in some ways that's good because people might make purchases more often. At the moment, what I feel happens is people buy on a Wednesday or when the stuff resets and they get on their game, whether that be a Wednesday or a Thursday or whatever it may be. And that's it. The premium shop's pointless after that because you've bought the items and that's it. Whereas I think if stuff was in there long term, people wouldn't necessarily feel that pressure of buying it in that instance, but no, it's always there to go back to, kind of thing. And I think that would be good. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I kind of like the bundles, is the bundles are always there. And you could sort of separate it into sections. So there could be like a section for houses, for skins and stuff like that, just to order it, to make it a bit more orderly for people, to find that the items that they want. So we do have that menu on the side, which has bundles, moonstones and stuff like that. You could set it up that the first page was any new items that come in. The second page were moonstones. The third page was bundles. And then the next page was like all the different categories. Or like, I say page, like subheading. Or what you could do is you could have like the main category of items, like the forever permanent shop, and then have a category or a filter system, so you could tick a filter and tick, like, for instance, a character franchise and only see the items for that. Or you could tick a like an item type, like clothing or housing or decor kind of thing, to narrow down the items. I think that would be my preference of how it would be, because then I think people wouldn't necessarily feel this rush to get the items, and I feel long term they would actually sell more, because then when people go, oh, actually I've got a bit of moonstones and I remember this item that I actually really wanted, so rather than holding on to my moonstones, I'll just go and spend that now. I will spend my moonstones now to get said item, rather than that person holding on to like 4,000 moonstones in the hope that Eric's ship turns up once in a blue moon. You know, that kind of thought process. That sort of, with, like, in my eyes, what I would like, I always keep aside a minimum amount of moonstones so I have it for the star path. I don't dip under that because I know I want it for the star path. And that's the kind of rule I set. And I feel like if there was something in the shop that I couldn't afford and I knew I wanted it, as soon as I made that moonstone amount, I'd be holding on to it. I'd be holding on to it until that item turned up again in the shop. 100%. At least that's my way of thinking. So I think having a permanent store would get rid of a lot of the FOMO issues and would be able to encourage more sales during their lifespan as such, because more people can actively participate whenever they want, kind of thing. You're not restricted by the 1 week kind of basis. And then my thoughts are, what they could do is when they introduce new items. So I like how they introduce new items like for during a week, and I think they could certainly still keep that format to a degree. But what I think they should do is when the item first comes in, it comes in at a reduced cost. So like 15% off for the first week, and then after that it's up to full price. Like, to promote that early purchasing. Like, this is going to sound really probably dodgy, and I know a lot of you will probably disagree with me when it comes to that point. But like, for instance, the houses that are 3,750, you go, okay, well, when they come in, they're all 2,500 or 3,000, whatever it may be, and then they go up to 3,750 or 3,000, whatever it may be. And then that would, I feel, encourage people to try and get the moonstones for the first week because they want to buy it at the reduced price. They want to save that bit of extra money. But then if they do hold off, they kind of have to pay a higher price for it. Because they didn't, kind of push through. But it's not acting on FOMO. People are participating actively in like a sale, which I don't know whether it's maybe the psychology of sales and stuff like that. I should know a bit about this. I've done marketing, I've done sales and stuff like that. So I kind of get get the kind of psychology of it. I just feel like a sale is much more positive than like having this pressured FOMO of I have to get this now because otherwise I might not see it again. Like, I just feel like that's a nicer mentality, and the stuff like that. So for me personally, I would like to see a permanent store where once an item's released, it stays in the store permanently. And then what they do is they do a limited time sale for when an item is introduced for that first week to encourage people to buy it in that week, but then people can buy it whenever they need. And I feel that kind of would eliminate what feels like a shady practice. I say shady, that's probably a bit too harsh of a word. But I feel like that would make it seem like a bit more fairer, maybe. I don't know. It's really hard to kind of get my words right for what I'm trying to explain. But just like, I feel as though it would feel better received and stuff like that, personally, in my eyes. I mean, I love the premium shop, don't get me wrong. I'm a big fan of it. I think they've done an awful lot in terms of providing moonstones to players, which I think is fantastic. So please don't take this video as me like being a Debbie Downer, fully criticizing and everything like that. I just kind of want to get across what I feel is how I would do it. How I would do it. Because I do mention sometimes in my videos about how I think it should work. And I think an introductory sale would really encourage a lot of people to buy there and then. Because people are like, oh my God, yeah, I'm going to get it at this reduced price. But realistically, okay, so obviously worked in sales, I did marketing and stuff like that. I know that sales are, generally speaking, 99% of the time fake. When stuff is sold at a sale price, it's not often sold at a sale price because they're reducing it to actually like reduce the item. More often than not, those sale prices are the actual price that that they're happy to sell it at. It's very rare that a company will offer a sale where they sell something that, not necessarily at a loss, but like less than what they would ever want to make for it. Like a lot of these half price sales you see and stuff like that, they're just constructed to make you, the buyer, feel like you're getting a bargain. But realistically, that's a basic price. That's a price that they would expect to sell it at. And anything above that is just like additional profit. So if you don't buy it in the sale, they're getting an extra boost. And whilst that's kind of like so fake in a way, it's also, I just feel like the norm of how things are, that, you know, I would rather buy something early, be told I'm getting this sale price, have it slightly reduced. Like I said, they sell houses for 3,000 to 3,750. They could set the houses all at 3,750 for their normal price and have the sale price be 3,000. And I feel like I don't know. I feel like this video is going to get a lot of dislikes. I feel like it is. Again, this is my personal viewpoint. I just feel like I would rather have items come to the store, have like a week sale, to encourage you to buy there and then it stays in a shop full time, and then if someone wants that item later down the line, they can still get it. I mean, I also think of people who maybe go away on vacations, or people who might even, you know, lose access to an item that they play on, say their console breaks or something like that. They might miss out on getting an item because they're physically unable to get that item. But having it forever in the store means that when they can come back to the game, they can ching 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 sell those moonstones, you know, all that cash in that back pocket for game loft kind of thing. Like, that's just my way of thinking. Like, I do think in some ways it's kind of nice, and like, I love that they are bringing old Star Path items back in the premium store. That's something that I always said would be good. But again, that's something that they can do to really help promote sales and stuff like that. This is one of the things that I'd said previously. I think like over a year ago, it must have been, when I had my big like Moonstone discussion and stuff. Like, I think it's good that they are bringing those items back, but they could be limited time events. So like when you see the up balloons come back in the shop in a limited time, that's limited for 7 days, but the standard premium shop stuff is always there permanently. Again, that kind of creates this, you know, buzz and hype for anyone who doesn't have the older stuff, because I have all the Star Path stuff. Like, that's never been an issue for me, personally, because I understand the importance of Star Paths. I always have done. I've always tried to get them completed, you know, because I understand that kind of like system, like especially because I played Dead by Daylight for so long, that I understand how you would have a limited time event to get those items. So when I saw it in Dreamlight Valley, I fully understood. Like, when it said ends here, I was like, okay, I'm getting these items, because if not, I'm not gonna get them. This is how I earn them. So it was never an issue for me. But that's because of my own experience with games. Not everyone has the same experience. Not everyone's experienced like battle pass systems or anything like that. So like, I get it. I get it. But yeah, I guess my points are, I would like a permanent shop where every item that gets released stays there permanently, so people can buy it whenever they want. That way there's none of this fear pressure to force sales, which I don't like. I don't like that fear pressure practice. And I think what they could do is introduce items that are new at a sale price. And that would encourage people to buy more immediately. But then also people who can't buy immediately can then buy later. They can buy later. And then they can do things like the previous Star Path items. They can come in as a rotation as well. But they are actually limited time because, you know, they were tied to a Star Path. So they're not ever meant to be like available consistently kind of thing. Whereas I feel like a premium shop should be. I feel like it should be consistently or always available. At least that's my thoughts, you know. They when the Sims release their stuff packs and everything like that, that stuff's always there. You know, whenever you want it, it's always available. And people can kind of jump in at any point. Whereas I feel like with the way the system's up now, you kind of don't have that. And especially for anyone who's new to the game, imagine how many months or weeks they might have to wait potentially for an item because they've only just discovered this game. And I feel like in some ways that might be very off-putting for newer players. And whilst as a newer player it might feel daunting how much stuff there is to buy in a premium store, I also feel like there wouldn't be that pressure to get it immediately and people could just pick up items as and when they want. So I think for sort of long term and longevity, that would be a better system. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on how I would prefer the premium shop to function. Please do let me know your comments down below. If you disagree, just tell me you disagree. Don't dislike it, please. You can just tell me, because I know when it comes to premium shops, I think everyone's kind of like got their own opinions and stuff like that, and I think it's totally valid to have your own opinions and everything. So this is just how I would prefer it to function. I'll be intrigued to hear what you guys think in terms of functionality and stuff like that. To hear what you guys would prefer and if you're happy with the premium shop as it is. Like I said, I'm not like majorly disappointed at the premium shop. I buy the things week in, week out. But just kind of like how I would prefer, how I think I could improve it. Is my thoughts. So I'd be interested to hear or have a discussion about what you all think, whether you agree, whether you disagree. Like I said, this isn't meant to be like a criticism to Gameloft or the game, you know, it's just a personal preference. And yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to wrap this up here. If you guys want to share your thoughts, please do so. I will see you in the next video. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye, guys.